Well, hello boys and girls, and welcome back to our Harkaway Primary School story time. Today we're going to read one of my most favourite ever stories, Wombat Stew, by Marcia Vaughan and Pamela Lofts. Alright, are you ready to read it with me? Let's go. You're going to have this in the back of your head, I reckon, even after we've finished. One day, on the banks of a billabong, a very clever dingo caught a wombat and decided to make wombat stew. Wombat stew. Gooey, brewy, yummy, chewy, wombat stew. Do you think you can sing that with us next time? Platypus came ambling up the bank. "G'day, dingo," he said, snapping his bill. "What's all that water for?" "I'm brewing up a gooey, chewy stew with that fat wombat," replied Dingo, with a toothy grin. "If you ask me," said Platypus, "the best thing for a gooey stew is mud. Big blobs of billabong mud." "Blobs of mud?" Dingo laughed. "What a good idea. Righto, in they go." So Platypus scooped up big blobs of mud with his tail and tipped them into the billy can. Not looking good for Wombat, is it? Around the bubbling billy, Dingo danced and sang. Ooh, you can sing this with me. Wombat stew, a wombat stew, gooey, brewy, yummy, chewy, wombat stew. Waltzing out of the shade of the ironbarks came Emu. She arched her graceful neck over the brew. Oh, Dingo," she fluttered. "What have we got here?" "Gooey, chewy wombat stew," boasted Dingo. "Ah, if only it were a bit more chewy," she sighed. But don't worry, feathers. A few feathers will set it right." "Feathers?" Dingo smiled. "They would be chewy." Righto, in they go. So into the gooey brew, Emu dropped her finest feathers. Around and around the bubbling billy, Dingo danced and sang. Wombat stew, a wombat stew, crunchy, munchy, for my lunchy, wombat stew. Wonder how the poor wombat's feeling. Old Blue Tongue the lizard came sliding off his sun-soaked stone. "Silly Dingo," he hissed. "There are no flies in the stew. Can't be wombat stew without crunchy flies in it." And he stuck out his bright blue tongue. "There's a lot to be said for flies," agreed Dingo, rubbing his paws together. Righto, in they go. So Lizard snapped 100 flies from the air with his tongue and flipped them into the gooey, chewy stew. Around and around and around the bubbling billy, Dingo danced and sang. Here we go, everyone. Wombat stew, crunchy, munchy, for my lunchy? Wombat stew. Up through the red dust popped Echidna. Wait a bit, not so fast, he bristled, shaking his red dust from his quails. Now, I've been listening to all this advice, and take it from me, from a munchy stew, you need slugs and bugs and creepy crawlies. Dingo wagged his tail. I should have thought of that. Righto, in they go. So Echidna dug up all sorts of creepy crawlies and dropped them into the gooey, chewy, crunchy stew. The very clever dingo stirred the whole while singing. Wombat stew, wombat stew, hot and spicy, oh so nicey, wombat stew. I wonder if they're enjoying all his singing. Just then, sleepy-eyed koala climbed down the scribbly gum tree. Look here, he yawned. Any bush cook knows you can't make a spicy stew without gum nuts. Leave it to Koala to think about gum nuts. Dingo laughed and licked his whiskers. Righto, in they go. And into the gooey, chewy, crunchy, munchy stew, Koala shook lots and lots of gum nuts. Aha! Cried Dingo. Now, my stew is only missing one thing. What's that? Asked the animals. That fat wombat. Wait, stop, hang on, Dingo. You can't put that wombat in the stew yet. Oh, I wonder why not? Why not? You haven't even tasted it. Righto, I'll taste it. And that very clever dingo bent over the billy and took a great big slurp of the stew. I'm poisoned, he howled. You've all tricked me. And he dashed away deep into the bush, never to sing again. Oh, here's our chance. Wombat stew, wombat stew, gooey, brewy, yummy, chewy, wombat stew. Well, thank you, boys and girls. I love reading that story. I hope you enjoyed hearing it and singing along as well. We will see you next time. 再见。